Hi, I'm Christy Davis, Director of Ann Campbell Early Learning Center, also known as ACE Learning Center, and I would like to welcome you to ACE-IT. ACE-IT is here for us to raise money for ACE Learning Center. How are we going to do that? Well, today we have some wonderful opportunities for you to listen to testimonials. We have an opportunity for you to tour our center, virtual tour, which is a unique opportunity for everyone. And we have some amazing items for you to look at today. I want to tell you a little bit about ACE Learning Center. ACE Learning Center is an inclusive child care center serving children with and without disabilities. We are a nonprofit center located on the MTSU campus. We serve children ages 12 months up to kindergarten age. Currently, we have 3 classrooms, and in those classrooms, each lead teacher has a degree, with an assistant, which many of them have some sort of child care background. In our classrooms, we are play-based, and we work with children on individualized goals, which are set forth as a team with parents and with the teachers. So I encourage you to grab a cup of coffee, tea, and sit back and enjoy. We've got a great show for you this morning. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Hi, I'm Connie Cash. I'm the Director of Early Learning Programs here at Middle Tennessee State University. Ann Campbell Early Learning Center is one of 3 programs that are supported by the College of Education here at MTSU. At Ann Campbell Early Learning Center, we strive for a high quality program that supports children with and without disabilities and their families. That is our first focus. In order to do that, we support our teachers and our students to make sure that they have access to the best education, the best training that will provide the best early learning environment for children. The other piece that we provide is community support. We are recognized as a model program here in the community. We do a lot of training with other child care programs as part of the Play Symposium held in the spring. We also work with Tennessee Voices for Children and the social emotional curriculum that they offer. Now we have a special treat for you. I was fortunate enough to be a student of Ann Campbell's back in the early 1990s, and little did I know back then that I would be back here at MTSU as a director of the early learning programs. But we're really excited to have with us today Ann's brother, Jim Campbell, to tell you a little bit more about her and her story.
I'm Jim Campbell, and I'm Ann Campbell's brother. And I've been following, quite interested in the Project HELP and the ACE program for as long as it's been going on there. And I talked some about Ann and her vision for the program, and Ann's vision, I think, is, well, I think that everybody would like to say that my vision has been realized, and I think that that's probably true for ACE. I can't imagine anything more that Ann could hope for or could envision than to see the project as it is today, or as it was the last time Ann was there. And I think, it's kind of started back when Ann was at Memphis working on her doctorate. And I think that's when her vision kind of became focused on where she wanted to go with her training and education and all. And I think that's when she really started focusing on developmentally challenged children and programs that could be created to educate those children, and also not just the children, but their families and the siblings, and also provide some way of educating the students in the setting where she's working, training the students to continue on with the program. So, I think that she stayed on that course. Ann was the kind of person that once she decided something, she didn't really deviate from that too much. I mean, and she had this vision, I think, of what she wanted to do. And I think that really when you see the program as it is today, that's probably what she had been working so hard on her whole, not just her career, but even when she was in college.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And you're exactly right. And what a great peace of mind one must have, after you have this vision and then you can see it be realized. Were there any challenges that Ann faced that she might have shared with you at the beginning?
Well, I think that just the growing of the project was such a challenge in itself, from the very beginning, because she started this program, at MTSU in a kindergarten classroom, and she was working out of the back of her car, out of boxes, and it was really, kind of a shoestring way of doing that. And I think that the project, they moved a few times till finally, they landed where they are right now in the building. But in that process, Ann, the challenge is not only for Ann, I think, in trying to work without a lot of resources to start with, but the challenges were also how was she going to grow this project, and she worked diligently on applying for grants and funding and getting the funding together in order to continue the project and to make it successful. And I think that all that time she was still trying to stay engaged with the children and with her staff and with all those others on the day-to-day things. So I think that I'm not sure that there was a particular challenge, but the whole thing in some ways was a challenge, but I think that was something that she accepted and that she, expected and was good with all of that because it paid off, the work that she did.
It certainly did. It did. As you're thinking about times that she might have talked with you, were there any certain achievements or accomplishments that she was proud of most?
Well, it kind of goes back to the vision. Her achievement was all you have to do is to walk into the project, and see her achievement. I mean, that was the greatest thing to her. Her whole life was that project. But I think really that maybe if you picked out one or two things, I think the building that they're in now was, a huge achievement that she was so proud of because she was responsible for getting the funding for that building, and she was responsible, I think, for working things out with the architects and with the builders and basically making that come to be. And that was one of her great achievements, I think, and I believe she thought that too, because every time, she was so proud of everything. And another thing I think was, in my opinion anyway, was the fact that her project, thing that she had created, had become the example of that type of program for the whole state. And people were looking at her program, and people were, really, trying to model what they're doing after what she had done. And so that was, I think that was one of her big accomplishments as well. But like I say, that really, you don't have to do anything but just go to the facility and see what's going on there to see her biggest accomplishment.
Evan is an only child at home. I have a 30-year-old stepson, but he was an only child, and for socialization purposes, he needed to be around other kiddos. And Ace I've worked with through early intervention. Of course, I work with TIS. So we've had a partnership with them for at least 20 years, as long as I've been there. So I just knew everyone was comfortable, knew the program, the curriculum, and the structure, and he needed that as well as being around other kiddos. So that was my reasoning. The inclusiveness of the program in itself is phenomenal. Any kiddo, whether they have special needs or don't have special needs, need that language modeling from peers, the fact that that is integrated in your program speaks volumes to the support it provides with early intervention and just child development. Of course, again, as I said, my background is in early intervention. So having those peer relationships and having those peer models with kiddos that are struggling in certain or have deficits or needs in certain areas of development, having that interaction is just phenomenal. So yeah, it's awesome. I'm excited. Evan loved everything about ACE. I'm trying to think, I tell you what, I probably have one for every classroom because he's been in every color. So in the green room, what I can think of is with Deborah and Miss Becky. I don't even know if Miss Becky is still there, but Deborah used to send little notes home in Evan's pocket. Of course, he's my only child, so I had a hard time leaving him, and I cried, and she was awesome. She was like, goodbye, go to work. We will take good care of your son. And I knew that he would be in good hands. But she would put little notes in his pocket and said, I had a great day, Mommy. You should come by and see me. And that meant the world to me. And to this day, he is about to be 7 on Wednesday, have those notes on the refrigerator. Basically, I think that his reading. He is a wonderful reader. His vocabulary is phenomenal. It probably doesn't help that he's around adults 24/7 either, or probably didn't hurt, I should say. But he has a love for books and reading, and I think that foundation has helped build. He's just built on that, so that's been great. So TIS is a program for early intervention, birth to 3. Any child that we have, it used to be that we had a contract with you all for center-based services. So for children that could not go to regular daycares or could not be in a regular program for whatever reason, whether it be for physical disabilities or it be behavior, we could send to you all and provide those supports. We don't have a center-based contract currently. Hopefully we can get that back up and running for Middle Tennessee. But right now, we do still give word of mouth or referrals. For those children that need those additional supports, therapists can come in, they can receive those supports within your agency. And then we of course can help pay and support those therapists.
Hi, I'm Carrie Buck.
I'm Bradley.
And this is Miles. And we are new parents at ACE this year. My son has Down syndrome. Yeah, I know. My son has Down syndrome, and ACE has been such a huge blessing to our family so far in just the short time that he's been there. We had heard great things about ACE working with kiddos with special needs, and we have another parent in the group that has also praised ACE with working with her child, and so we decided to come out and tour back in March before everything shut down, and we're sold. So we love how much they do to work with our kiddos to help them meet their own individual goals. So before he started ACE, he had only been with Mama or Dada for about 6 months. With everything shut down, we were able to be the ones to take care of him. And so he hadn't been around any other kids. He hadn't been around any other adults. And so when he first started ACE, he was very, very bashful, wouldn't eat, he wouldn't drink, he wouldn't do anything. He kept his hand above his face. And in the short month that we've been at ACE, he's now crawling towards his peers. He's participating in circle time, and he is thriving even at home. We've seen him start to drink from a sippy cup, which is huge. We've been working on that for over a year now, and so he's doing fantastic with that sippy cup. He's been consistent with it He's not putting his hand up nearly as much. And in fact, his teacher can ask him to put his hands down and he's following those directions. So it's just been fabulous to see the growth that he's made in just this short month that we've been here. This fundraiser would severely help the green room with getting a potty for potty training, so that they can support parents on their journey with that. And then also being able to continue to have faculty at ACE to be able to serve our kiddos is very important as well. Inclusion and accepting children for who they are. It's a huge part in the special needs world that we want our kiddos to be accepted no matter what they look like, no matter who they are, and that goes for any kid. All kids should be accepted for who they are and who they become, and so that plays a huge role into why we also chose ACE, because they're so good with making sure with meeting his needs at where he's at. So for instance, at circle time, while his peers are up moving around and walking and dancing, they have a chair for him to hold on to so he can stand and enjoy that time as well. So just meeting our kids where they are and the acceptance of that.
My name is Ann Davis, and I am privileged to serve as the president of the Christy Houston Foundation, which is a private health legacy foundation formed in 1986 in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and our corpus was formed from the sale of Middle Tennessee Medical Center to St. Thomas and Baptist Hospitals in Nashville. And unusually, for the past 2 years, I've also served as the president of the Charity Circle of Murfreesboro. And our organization is a premier women's organization in Murfreesboro that was begun in 1910. So we are literally 110 years old. And we have always been about trying to better the plight of women and children in Rutherford County. We continue to support Ann Campbell Early Learning Center from both the Christy Houston perspective and the Charity Circle perspective, because they are making such a meaningful contribution to our community. And the children for whom they care are at the top of our list in terms of those that we want to see thrive. And I know there are so many organizations in Rutherford County that do work around special needs. And so seeing this pipeline that is built from the time that a baby is born with special needs, and then they're able to enjoy ACE, which used to be called Project Help back in the day, and then perhaps they move on and become clients at Special Kids. And as they mature into adulthood, we have Journeys in Community Living and Possibility Place. Rutherford County is such a very loving and generous community toward these very important citizens of our community. After having an opportunity to visit ACE in person, I came away with a much greater understanding of the important work that they do. And seeing the smiles on the children's faces, seeing them inside the building in their classrooms, seeing them outside on the playground, and the way they interact with each other and with their teachers, it was a very inspiring visit. And after COVID concludes and we hopefully all get back to normal or a new normal, I hope to be able to go back. There are so many ways that you can help the Ann Campbell Early Learning Center. They, of course, enjoy individual donors and corporate sponsorships for their events. They even have a book list on Amazon. If you want to do something today, you could go on Amazon and send them a book. They're always trying to keep their library refreshed. And just knowing that the Charity Circle and the Christy Houston Foundation have been able to help them make improvements, especially with regard to their facility. We've been able to help them install security doors, have specialized walkie-talkies between their buildings. We've been able to help them work on their playground, including a covering for their portion of their playground during the summer months when it's so hot. And we've even been able to help them with classroom computers and new flooring and window blinds for their windows. They even needed, one year they needed special lighting for their autistic clients. And so these are all ways that we've been able to help just in small ways that hopefully have made their days easier. But I would encourage anyone who's listening to take a moment in time in the future to visit the Ann Campbell Early Learning Center and see for yourself the remarkable work that they are accomplishing.
Hi, I'm Robin Ridgely, the Interim Associate Dean of the College of Education. In 2014, I had the privilege of serving as the Interim Director of the Ann Campbell Early Learning Center. This center provides lots of opportunities for our students to learn many things. One of the most important things that they learn is about the impact of putting children and families together who are unique in lots of different ways to learn and grow with one another. They learn firsthand how inclusive environments can support children and support their families. They also learn by watching effective teachers interact with children every day, children that have varying learning needs, and they support them through their daily activities, through all the things that happen within the classroom. Our teacher candidates see effective teaching in action and can learn from that and practice in a safe place. This center also provides lots of opportunities for our students to learn how to interact with families and how to support families. Through the daily interactions that teachers and children have together, they learn effective skills for having conversations, for spending time with one another and learning from one another. ACE Learning Center is a very important place to MTSU and to our community. They do many things to support children and families and use every space that they have, whether it's the playground or the classrooms, to support children and to support our teacher candidates. I encourage you to support our center, the Ann Campbell Early Learning Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Amanda Witt, chairperson of the ACE Learning Center Executive Board. And we have aced it today with this wonderful, wonderful weather. ACE Learning Center is a great place for children from 1 year to 4 and 5 years old. They're a great location here on campus of the Middle Tennessee State University. My daughter was a recent graduate of the ACE Learning Center, and she loved it here. She gained so many new friends, those of which she even talked about last night. Please think of giving to the ACE Learning Center, as well as possibly think of children in your area or your family who can join this great family here. They're a wonderful resource and they're a wonderful family to join.
Hi, I'm Rick Van Alst. I'm the Interim Dean for the College of Education here at MTSU. We're at the Ann Campbell Early Learning Center today, and we're seeking support for the Ann Campbell Early Learning Center. This center plays an integral part in the mission of the College of Education. When we consider the 3 areas that faculty work in research, service, and instruction, this center actually performs all 3 tasks for us. We provide service to the community. On any given day, we'll have 40 to 50 children in the Ann Campbell Early Learning Center who are receiving services that they might not be able to receive in other areas, because we run about a 50% ratio between typically developing children and atypically developing children. So it gives a really nice environment for children with disabilities and areas of need that they might not be able to receive in another setting. We also provide service for our students through instruction. So our students in early childhood get an opportunity to work in a center and see children in the learning environment and work with them in that way. We also serve students in psychology, in social work, in speech and language areas, and so it's not just a College of Education that this center services. And then there's research, and so there's an opportunity here for faculty to engage in research, cutting edge research with regards to how we service children that are typically and atypically developing.
MTSU had awarded me a federal work study position, which allowed me to apply for jobs on campus. MTSU emailed me a list of job openings, and ACE was one of them. I chose ACE because I had already had experience working with children, and I also really enjoy being around them. But what I enjoy most about ACE is that it never actually feels like a typical day at work. The kids make every day so exciting and interesting. It's like literally never a dull moment working with them. What makes ACE different is all of the hands-on activities that we get to do, like painting, being outside, exploring. I see them playing a very important role. It provides a very safe and nurturing environment for the children, while promoting physical, emotional, intellectual development for the kids.
Bidding starts now. Follow these simple steps and you will be on your way to purchasing some wonderful items while helping support the ACE Learning Center. To download the HandBid app on your phone, go to the App Store and search for HandBid. After you download HandBid, you will need to create a user account by entering your name, email address, and phone number. HandBid will send you a text with a 5-digit code to enter. Once you have entered the code, you will be able to access all events currently on HandBid. Search for ACE Learning Center. You will see ACEIT logo pop up on the screen. Click on it. You will need to register to bid on items. You can choose enter your credit card now or add it later. The next screen is your dashboard. The screen lets you know how many items you are winning or losing. It also allows you to share the auction with others. 100% of the proceeds goes directly to ACE Learning Center, so we encourage you to share this app with friends and family. From the dashboard, you can swipe to the left to see all of the many great items we have up for auction, from Walt Disney World passes to a Discovery Center membership to great gift cards to popular restaurants. We even have a lake and cabin rentals for family and friend getaways. Bidding starts now and ends at 8 p.m. on Thursday, October 22nd. Winning bidders will be able to pick up items on Saturday, October 24th, anytime between 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at ACE Learning Center at 206 North Bayard Lane in Murfreesboro. If you would like more information about ACE Learning Center, ACEIT, or downloading the HandBid app, you can go to mtsu.edu/ACE Learning Center. What a great way to shop for Christmas items and support ACE Learning Center. We thank you for your support, helping us ACE it.
Hi, I'm Amy Pater, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications for the United Way of Rutherford and Cannon counties. United Way's mission is to improve lives by advancing opportunities in the areas of education, health, and financial stability for all. United Way is a proud partner of ACE Learning Center. We believe that early education is so crucial to the success of each individual in our community. Throughout my years at United Way, I've had the opportunity to take several people, donors, investors on tours of Ann Campbell Early Learning Center. And I did this long before I became a parent. And I can remember just being so impressed about how the facility was so inclusive, how all the children were how all the children were taught to on their needs and met on their level, and how it was also an even playing field for everyone. And so when I had a daughter, I think she was probably about 3 weeks old when I put her on the waiting list for Ann Campbell Early Learning Center. And I'll never forget the day getting that call to know that she had a spot. And I've told Miss Deborah in the green room so many times this, but anytime I dropped off Emma, who's now 2, and I first dropped her off when she was 15 months old, I never had a worry about her. I had the utmost peace that she was being taken care of, that all of her needs were met, emotionally, physically, and developmentally. And she made such incredible strides her first year at Ann Campbell. She went from being a shy little girl to someone who was singing her ABCs and counting to 10. And it was so fun too that so many times we would see that she was learning and picking up something and we didn't even know it until we were playing. For example, we had some match cards out at Christmas and all of a sudden she started counting to 10 and we didn't even know that she could count all the way to 10. So all of that has been possible thanks to the Great Center at Ann Campbell.
In the beginning, we didn't first know about ACE because we were very new in Murfreesboro. So I was looking at only places in Nashville. Then my sister-in-law, that's my wife's sister, she's a child psychology specialist. So she was the one who actually found out about ACE. And she lives in Corvallis. So she's written books and things like that. So we heard about ACE through her. And also, she's a specialist in the field. So if she makes a really strong recommendation, I think she looked up the information online and also she asked some people. As I said, she's well connected throughout. She knows a lot of people. And ironically, we didn't get Delaney in because by the time we came down to put in a request, they were already backed up. And so by that time we knew what to do. So for Cassandra, we started the process a little earlier. A lot of things we never taught her. She kind of picked up on her own while she was at ACE. She, especially math, I think that's really important, math and reading skills. And she reads a lot. Even when you give her a few minutes, if there's a book, she just starts reading. And I can really tell, watching Cassandra, she's already doing that much earlier than when Delaney started. Also, they feel very comfortable when they go to a place. They can just, because they've been exposed to people and they're not shy. I wish they are shy sometimes, but they're very confident. The teachers playing a role in the absence of the parents, not just be there as their playmate, whatever. They have to play the role of parents when the parents are not there. I mean, there's a fine line between being the parent and being the teacher. And obviously there are state requirements and all these things that prevents them from doing everything that they would have normally done. But I think for our children, they've done a really excellent job of being there while we are not there. So I think that I can really say about ACE.
So I'm actually a pediatric speech pathologist here in town. And I had several of my own families that went into ACE and they loved it, and their parents just had such comfort at sending their kids there. So that brought us some peace as well when we made that decision. And then we also just loved the inclusivity of it. Our goal in raising our son Wyatt was just to teach him to love and care for others, regardless of their abilities. And ACE really helps us promote that teaching. So that was the biggest reasons why we chose it. ACE is the first facility that Wyatt has been at. So prior to this, he was only in an in-home type of childcare. So it made it a much of an easier transition, knowing how well he was getting taken care of. As a first-time mom, obviously that was a huge stressor for me. But knowing where he was going to just took a lot of anxiety off our plates and allowed us to just enjoy this new beginning for him. As a parent, as a board member, and I think if everyone can give back in some small way, it's just going to continue to touch our community and have a really large impact.
Lots of memories from my time here at ACE. So much fun. Well, one year I had this little girl that she was nonverbal, but she could sign so well. So what we did as the inclusion part was during circle time, when we would do animals, we would sing the animals and the sounds and she would sign like the interpreter over at the side. It was so cute. The children with special needs learn so much from typical developing children, but I like how the typically developing children, they just don't treat them any different. So
you know, they'll have so much empathy and care, and they take care of each other. It's really fun to watch. I feel like I just keep pushing them to learn and to do more. The scaffolding of learning and going to the next level, to keep making it challenging so that they can excel and succeed.
A little bit of a lucky fluke for us. One of our nurses here at Project Health, at the Student Health Center, had her son in it was Project Health, then ACE Learning Center. And so Harrison was at the time where we needed some childcare while my wife was going back to school. So we're blessed to be able to squeeze in somewhere between 15 and 18 months. And this was a neat thing to be able to do that. We were having trouble interacting with him for dinner time. And so the command for more with sign language, when he wanted more to eat before he ever spoke, that was how he would communicate. I think it was more on there with it. And we got that at the dinner table, and that was really neat. That was special. Deborah Newman, who runs the first class on there with it, noticed his late talking. We were worried about it as well. We got some help, and he's turned out just fine. Taylor was a little bit late in that regard too, and we kind of benefited from the things that were already in place with Harrison with her. For one important reason, developmental delays, for someone who's got those, you couldn't pick a better environment than this. I mean, this is the ideal environment for that. If somebody's got a disability, there's some autistic concerns, anything that would be a delay for them, why not have a place like this where they can get the best of the educational things that are out there? I wish people could see what we've got here. I mean, it is a special place. I have very fond memories dropping my child off and then coming in the afternoon to watch them outside, interacting with the teachers. I mean, this is a truly special place.
I've been here 28 years. On the 19th of this month, I'll begin 29 years. A long time.
And what do you enjoy most about working at ACE?
I enjoy the daily interactions that I have with the children and with the other teachers. And I get to come to work and create play activities for the kids to help improve and enrich their overall development. I actually get to share in the life and help with their development, and also to empower the parents, the families, and also I love the harmony that we as teachers have as we work together. I have a lot of memories, and I guess the most memorable one would be when the library was dedicated in memory of my daughter several years ago.
What do you think ACE offers to families and children that other centers might not?
I think there's a true commitment and dedication to serve and to make sure that we do all that we can to make sure each child will reach their full potential.
I hope you've enjoyed our program this morning. This program was created just to help raise funds for ACE Learning Center. I hope you will help us ACE it. I would like to take an opportunity to thank our sponsors, MTSU for their support, College of Education at MTSU, our parents, and our community partners, United Way of Rutherford and Cannon County, Christy Houston Foundation, Charity Circle, and so many more that help support us. It would not be possible to have so many of the beautiful things that we have and are able to operate on a day-to-day basis without your support, and that helps us ACE it. This playscape was provided from donors like you. Our sunshade was provided by a donor. Also in our classroom, we have Etrinsic lighting system, which is a high-quality lighting system, which is a colored lighting system that is LED for our children. We have new flooring in our classroom. We also have new play furniture for the children and sensory items. There's so many items when you walk around our school building that we can see that are donated thanks to sponsors like you. This program will allow us, with funds, to purchase new materials for our classrooms. We also hope to raise enough money to install a bathroom in one of our children's classrooms. Thank you for joining us today. We hope that you will help us ACE it. Be sure to download HandBid and bid on these wonderful items. We've got Disney World tickets, we have Dollywood, a lake house rental, many wonderful items that are here for you to help us ACE it. Thank you.